That song out. Good morning, everybody. What is today? Today is Tuesday. Can y'all hear me okay? It's getting some feedback. All right. Today's class of the day, so we're calling that COTD, is the obviously team meeting that we're going over family reunion ahas. A lot of us that went to family reunion, y'all, there's so many different tracks at family reunion. So even if you went to family reunion, I guarantee you that somebody on the panel went to a class that you might not have gone to. So I'd encourage you to go today or log in on Zoom if you can. So we're going to go over all things family reunion. And today is everything AI. So yesterday we talked about value squared and creating a system around every point in the process, right? And how that will determine what the consumer sees in terms of us and our businesses as value. And then what is that number that they are going to place or agree to pay for those said services. Today, I think this is pretty fascinating. We're going through this AI journey, and today we're coming up on friction points. Somebody else is sharing. I need to get back on the shared screen. We're talking about friction points in the transaction. But I want to show y'all this because I think this is important. Let me get over here. Yeah, there we go. All right. If you don't know what the vision speech is, I would encourage y'all to go into KW Connect, do vision speech here in Search Connect, just like you would Google, and then click on the vision speech for 2026. You need to chunk down these slides, okay? And I'm probably going to start chunking these down as we go into the Thursday, what's going on in the market calls. But I want to make sure everybody knows how to find this, because these slides should be used in your buying presentation and your listing presentation, just like our office statistics should be used in your buying presentation and your listing presentation. So together as many, we look bigger. And then if we go solo, it's going to look smaller. So for instance, say my team sold 100 houses, that's great. But if I can say our office sold 2,800 houses, which number sounds better? Probably the 2,800. So that tells the consumer that we have quite a chunk of market share. So make sure you're using the office numbers and these slides to help educate and inform the customer. That will start to reflect in the value that they see in you, because most people don't have this information. So going back, I'm going to make sure everybody knows where to go. You go to Connect, Search Connect, and you're going to go to Vision Speech 2026. Okay, all that to say is I was really curious after I saw this prompt. I wanted to go dive back into this and figure out, what does the consumer, based on KW research, feel about our services. And so what it says here, if you can look at the graph, it says on the buy side, their buyer satisfaction score says they were very satisfied, 59%, somewhat satisfied is 33%, somewhat dissatisfied 6%, and very dissatisfied 2%. Those that know me understand that somewhat satisfied isn't going to work as a fiduciary. Somewhat satisfied means we're operating as a functionary to me. So that means almost how much percentage are not happy on the buy side? Almost 90, over 90%. I'm sorry, not, I lied. Over, what is that? 6, 7, 8. Over, what is that? Somebody do the math.
40%.
40%. So over 40% of the people are not satisfied on the buy side. On the seller side, it's saying around about, we've got what, 30, 40, 35-ish% on the seller side. So 40% of the population is not happy on the buy side, 35%-ish on the sell side. So there's a huge market there that we can increase that satisfaction, increase our services and experience, so that the customer or potential consumer deems us as needed. So all that to say is I thought this was really interesting, and I do have a problem with these numbers, because for us to get paid what we get paid, somewhat satisfied, I don't think is something that we all want to be classified as, especially if it's people that already know, like, and trust us, right? So I went into this AI playbook, and what I do believe the reason why some people are somewhat satisfied or dissatisfied is because of friction points. So this prompt is called the Friction Point Eliminator. And I'm going to go over that. It says, I want to identify and eliminate the common friction points in the real estate process that cause stress or frustration in my clients. It says down here, number one, the specific pain points clients typically experience, an AI enhanced system to eliminate or reduce the friction, templates for explaining the process in simple terms, automation opportunities to create a smoother experience, proactive measures to prevent friction before it occurs, methods for gauging client comfort throughout the process. And then it says, help me develop red flag systems, scripts, transaction management tools, etc. It says key metric, according to NAR research, clients who describe their transaction as smooth or easy are significantly more likely to refer their agents to family and friends. And so what we saw by those stats is, yes, 60% are on the seller side, over 60% on the seller side, and about 60% on the buy side. But what are we doing with almost 40% of people that are somewhat satisfied and or dissatisfied? Because that tells me we're not going to get raving fans from that group. I also thought this was pretty fascinating. It says the friction matrix. This is common stages in the process where the consumer or potential customer gets frustrated. Number one, search and listing. They get information overload. So they're on all these websites. They're getting calls from all these agents. Now they're getting information overload. We can create an AI enhanced system to give them personalized property digest. So if I'm really clear on, say, what Leslie needs in her search, then I can start sending her weekly personalized property digest. And quite frankly, that takes off all the other third-party aggregator websites and allows me to be the one-stop shop solution provider, i.e., I am the one finding the property and I'm not waiting for them to go find it. Documentation, I totally agree with this because this just happens to our agents. Paperwork confusion. If y'all are confused, they're certainly confused. If you do not know how to take those forms and explain them very simply, and simplify that process for them, it is going to be confusing, therefore frustrating, and then they're going to get concerned or worried that you do not know what you're doing. So I love this. It says AI guided completion systems for documentation, process navigation, so timeline uncertainty. I think this happens more than what we realize. I had a friend of mine that that's listing in Nashville. Long story short, she's very worried about a timeline and process. So we've created a almost like a tracking system, milestones. When this happens, this is scheduled. This happens, this is scheduled. And it's creating clarity for her. And I'm simplifying it for her to take the stress out of the situation. Communication, response delays. So you can create AI enhanced responsive systems, and then decisions, support, analysis paralysis, data driven recommendation engines. All that to say is we're on prompt 2, but this is a huge one, y'all, that I would encourage you to put into ChatGPT because there are so many points in the process that create friction. And guess what happens when there's friction and uncertainty? Who gets yelled at? You. And so we're a family of extreme ownership here, like all of us on the call. If you're getting yelled at by a client, it's more than likely you didn't set the right expectations, and or you were not clear and didn't describe something very simply so that they understood what you were communicating to them. So this is what it came back as, just so everybody can see it. So I put that prompt in here. Then it came back a seamless transaction system. They feel calm, informed, and in control, and it gives friction zones, documentation frictions, AI enhanced systems, gives me all of that, simple explanation template. So there's my script, automation opportunities, proactive prevention, etc. And it gives me communication friction, gives me timeline management friction. It builds the whole thing out for me, decision-making friction, and so forth and so on. So I think this is interesting because it's also got the scripts and all of that lined out here as well. I do believe that we have a huge opportunity in, number one, explaining our value, fine-tuning our systems, and then number 3, make sure that the systems and the communication is simple enough, fast and quickly done to obviously distributed out to the consumer so that they feel like you are not just in control, but you're guiding them through the process, giving them all the information they need so that they can make informed decisions and not have stress and frustration and therefore end up yelling at you. So what do y'all hear me saying this? I just went through a lot.
We need systems to work at an efficient, effective business.
Love that. Who else?
I think just how important clear communication is.
How important clear communication is. Y'all, if you are getting and say you're hiring somebody for a service, and then you hire them, and then I'm just making this up, you hire a contractor and they go missing for 2 weeks without any communication. What's your opinion of that person? You're not going to be very happy. So when we go ghost or we get busy because we're just busy, they're not going to be very happy. So yes, consistent communication, clear communication. Shauna, you unmuted. Were you about to say something?
I was just going to say explaining the process and the timeline.
Explaining the process, explaining the timeline, and please, y'all, explain the forms in which they're signing. I think sometimes we like to go past the fees. If you're going quickly past the fees, that tells me you don't understand your value proposition. So I want you to get very clear on what that is so that you can show them, hey, this is my value proposition and this is why I'm worth whatever it is that you say you're worth, bundled services or unbundled services. But just because you don't know your value does not mean you get to go misrepresent a client. Because at the end of the day, we're being hired as fiduciaries and not functionaries. Anybody that is dissatisfied with their agent or anybody that says that they're somewhat satisfied, I believe they're operating in a functional role and not a fiduciary role. So, I mean, I think this applies to anything in life. Everybody wants information quickly. They want it simple. And then they want to know that the experience and the process matches what they're paying for. And so that's why these systems come into place. I'm going to hit this prompt in the Facebook group right after this. I want y'all to take what we did from Value Squared yesterday, and then you can take this prompt and you can build out a streamless system. It should not take you more than an hour to do. If it's taking you longer, then I think my question for you is, what training do you need to simplify the process so that you can simplify it for the customer, right? So what additional training do you need on the buy side, sell side, contract negotiations, whatever it may be, so that you can then create a simpler, smarter, faster process. All right, everybody, COTD, I just like saying that, class of the day, family reunion panel coming up today at 11 o'clock. Meredith Vesna is hosting an open house. I know it's a lunch tour. So we'll have all of that at team meeting as well. Y'all make it a good one. Make it count. I appreciate y'all. Bye.